Every generation, they have their unique nuances.
Yes, you notice little nuances about their habits, the way they dress, their lifestyle.
Gen Z. Now, these are the guys, who are bold, who want electric designs.
And it's also a lot of innovation and it's a lot of high functionality.
Is evolving all the time. It's becoming pop art now.
Good design doesn't shout, it settles and stays with you. It's in the quiet hinge, the soft close, the rhythm of use. You feel it in the way you move, reach, pause, live. Ever wondered what actually brings the spaces we live into life? Well, it's time to meet the minds that make the real magic happen.
Hello and welcome back to another episode of Hettich Presents Living with Magic. I'm Ronita Italia, Editor-in-Chief of Good Homes India. And today's conversation is all about design that bridges the gap between the past and the present, the space and the object. And to have this conversation with me, I have two very, very interesting voices. Well, welcome Tejal Mathur, whose eponymous studio has shaped homes, restaurants, and workplaces across India for more than 2 decades. Her work often carries a sense of memory, emotion, and beautiful storytelling, all qualities that connect strongly with generational identity and cultural shifts. And completing the circle today, I also have with me Jiteen Aggarwal, the Chief Marketing Officer at Hettich India. His perspective in understanding consumer needs and lifestyle shifts vis-a-vis how brands adapt to these evolving behaviors is something that I am looking forward to today. Thank you so much for being here with me today.
Thank you for having me on the show.
Lovely. So I'm going to dive right into this conversation because I'm very, very interested in knowing how spaces are not only built but planned and designed as well for generations. And the mark of a great space also most of the time is how it's able to sustain its generations, right? Not just the present, but also the future and of course the older generations as well. So once again, I'm going to welcome you guys to this episode and dive right in. All right. It's going to be a fascinating journey with design traveling through time and generations with me. So once again, Tejal and Jiteen, thank you so much for being here with me. Let's dive right in. Okay. I'm going to start with a very interesting question for you. If design were a person, how old do you think it would be?
So for me, firstly, age and time is just a physical marker. Design is in the head. There's no attribute of age or time associated with an idea that delves into aesthetic. What's important is whatever story you want to tell, how deep can you go? How saturated can the story be? How complete? What emotion do you want the person to feel? So it's not necessarily to associate design with the feeling of young or associated
Correct.
with. Yeah.
Correct.
I mean, there are so many places where you are trying to create some nostalgia, some melancholia.
Yes.
And that's a beautiful emotion, right? Something that reminds you of the past.
Yes.
So with a few spaces that we worked on, it's the emotion that we try to bring out in the space that takes the person back in time.
Yes.
Something that they remember, something that they fell in love with, something that made them feel a certain sense of sadness. And that's beautiful.
Yes.
And then you would also have design where you are exploring something that's very new age, very futuristic, probably planting a future version of you
Yeah.
through design. So It works in myriad ways.
It's a beautiful
It's an emotion. Yeah.
a beautiful place. So I wanna
It's emotion translated into material.
Yes.
It depends on what you want to do. It's drama.
I want to bring this to you exactly basis what she's saying, because to me, nothing defines that better than the way a home functions. And the minute you think function, for me, I associate it with Hettich and everything that you guys do also, right? Literally stringing functionality through our daily lives. What's your take on this?
So if you ask me, I mean, I kind of, agree to what Tejal said in terms of, first of all, design being ageless, timeless, because it depends upon the need of the individual, right? Whether the individual, for example, is looking at a space which gives him a lot of warmth, an individual is looking at a space which brings in some kind of emotional connect, right? So it's very kind of relative to the individual that you're looking at. So from that perspective, yes, design is timeless. Now, when you look at us, Hettich as a brand, we're talking about making spaces, much more vibrant. We're talking about creating those magical interior experiences for people. Yeah, it's all about those space solutions that we are talking about. How do I make life easier, better, comfortable, convenient, for the consumer out there?
Yes.
Yeah. So from that point of view, what we are talking about is, bringing the best in terms of technology and aesthetics, which accord that kind of magical feeling to a consumer. So that's what we are all about.
That also, in a way, evokes a sense of ease, which is also the emotion that you're talking
Yes,
about.
it's very important because even if we are working on a space that requires very classical, nostalgic elements, but I sincerely believe that if the operation or the functional aspects are not taken care of and are not in sync with the needs of the today's consumer, then at some point it's just gonna like fall flat because it's not convenient.
Correct.
Yeah.
People want the aesthetics to give them a certain feeling, but when it comes to usable and functional design, we have to
Keep that in mind.
Yes, we have to bear that in
Oh my
mind.
God.
No doubt.
And that kind of keeps bringing us back to, at every point, the best that your age has to offer, right?
Yeah.
Something that connects the past and and keeps the future in mind. So again, when you guys are planning your stuff, when you're planning your product lines or whatever, is there a lot of that goes
Yeah.
into?
So actually, there's a lot of research and a lot of consumer, study that gets into before we try conceptualizing any product. Because you need to understand, first of all, what are the shifts in design trends which are happening across the globe. Because we being a global brand, I mean, you need to understand, where all the design shifts are happening. Yeah. So, I mean, if you look at the mega trends today, we're talking about individualization, you're talking about new work, you're talking about space optimization. So all these are trends which are shaping the way people are looking at the interior, people are looking at the decor, and we take all that into consideration, right? So one is obviously the technology aspect of it, yeah. And here I want to bring in this entire bit of generational shift which is happening, So let's look at, right from baby boomers to a Gen X to a millennial, to talking about Gen Z. Yeah, ticking off, because you need to look at design somewhere, which cuts across at points of time. There would be certain designs which are only meant for a certain, generation, while there would be certain which would cut across. So let me start with talking about baby boomers. Now, the baby boomers are somebody who obviously, they are very, very kind of, I would say, people who believe in practical solutions. They want durability, reliability,
Everything is practical.
Yeah. So for them, it's just about, I want that sturdiness, I want that warranty, I want that functionality, a lot of functionality, It's not too much about aesthetic, it's
should
all
last.
about last long. Absolutely.
10 years minimum.
Yeah. So hence we have this entire concept of warranty that is built up. Yeah. And then when you move on to the next one, which is your Gen X. So So if you look at our core TG right now sits between Gen X and millennials. That's where the core TG sits. Yeah, and then obviously we're gravitating towards your Gen Z as well.
Gen Z, we'll not talk about that right now. You wait, that nightmare we will come to later. I want to ask you, Tejal, about, forget you as a designer, okay, an architect. We look at you as somebody who's enjoyed spaces as well. Is there anything growing up that you thought was pure magic, and then that also affected you as the professional?
I mean, I fell in love with just fine art, and I lived next to Jangir Art Gallery, and that used to be my weekend haunt. My father had his very Burmatic, old school office in Mumbai Samachar Marg, and I think it was like the whole old world aesthetic that I grew up with, um, including using public transport and the whole and the way Bombay mechanically operated. It's a hub. I mean, it's with so much variation. So what I grew up with extreme stimulus of the cultural variety and the aesthetics that came through with their own customs and traditions that somewhere I think I must have ignored at the point. But it goes into a very deep recess in your brain that somewhere comes out later.
I enjoy when I'm seeing your visual narrative is the whole idea of contemporary, well, vintage, for want of a better word. There's a certain contemporary.
Mixing the old and new.
Yes.
I love the mashup.
Yeah. Tell me more.
It's who I am. And yet, regardless, it's very important as a designer to create a space that the people who I'm working for, the homeowners, when I am done making it, they should feel a sense of belonging. It's not about what they tell me. It's not about the brief they give me. It's about what they are not saying.
Yeah.
So listening in the beginning is very, very vital. Observing them, imagining what sort of a space they could call their own. But even when I get a little hint from them, I know how to expand. But you notice little nuances about their habits, the way they dress, their lifestyle, because they would talk about their family and what they want.
Yeah.
And the most important part is what they dream about when it's a new home. It's a very big step for people.
Yes.
It's about transference of identity. It's me mingled with their desires that eventually belongs to them.
Oh my God. I want to bring this to you. Because this whole idea of being able to pan generations, how do you guys balance what you do? Again, it's so hyper functional, right? Like you can't compromise on that. So if you have to take that and balance out everything else, how do you manage that?
Yeah, so that's what I was talking about. Because every generation, they have their unique nuances.
Yes.
Right? So I started with baby boomers, for example. As I was telling you, very much, kind of harped on durability, reliability, warranty.
Yes.
Everything long lasting. We don't want to take any kind of chances, So from that point of view, yes, obviously we had to make products, obviously which are very durable, very reliable, give them a warranty tag, right? So kind of takes care, good load bearing capacity. So functionality built in, kind of. Moving on to the next generation, if you're talking about the Gen X, these are more practical guys.
Yeah.
But they're also the guys who are looking at a transition,
Yes.
So they have a little bit more evolved mindset. That's the way I look at it.
Yes.
Yeah, so these are the guys who started embracing your modular kitchens and all this, and that's where this entire concept of space optimization, corner solutions started
Correct.
evolving for us.
Correct.
Yeah, and that's where we went into this.
Correct.
Then you move on to the next one, which is the millennial guy. Now, these are the guys who are looking more at self-expression. These are the guys more individualistic,
Yeah.
kind of.
Slowly breaking
Yeah.
out.
They want to leave their own personal expression wherever they are living. So from that point of view, we have products like, again, let me talk about a drawer system that we have, which is called the Aventec U. The way we kind of position it is as individual as you, because there are so many different kind of permutation and combinations, so that it suits your personality.
Correct.
So purely from that point of view, these are the guys who want to leave their own mark.
Correct.
And then let's move to the next one. There we are talking about Gen Z. Yeah. Now these are the guys, who are bold, who want eclectic designs. See, they believe in living in the now.
They're also living in the moment.
Yeah, that's what I said, living in the now.
They're happy to kind of live their present state of mind, and they don't know about tomorrow.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I
Care about
mean,
tomorrow.
I am working with Gen Z clients, and it's about we don't know tomorrow, but we want the home to be adaptable to change.
Absolutely.
I should be able to do that.
100% I agree with you.
And that's actually interesting, because how do you make a home that's not static? How is the home that I designed so
Yeah.
experimental
Yeah.
that it can evolve over time in the future?
Yeah.
That's in fact a challenge for us as well.
Challenge
This
and
is
how.
quite a challenging lot, to be very frank. And I'll just add to what you said.
Understatement, huh?
Yeah.
Quite a is understatement. Gen Z challenges us across the board, no matter what.
Yeah, so it's a big challenge to the market.
Yes.
I mean,
Oh
in
my
terms of
God.
how do you kind of design or evolve products, which suit their thinking. So from that point, one thing I've seen about Gen Z is also the fact that these guys, somewhere they care a lot about sustainability.
Yes.
Somewhere that they're very sensitive.
Yes.
Saying that what is the kind of material you're using? Are you using stuff which
Yes.
is sustainable?
Yes.
Or are this been made in a sustainable environment? So that's also something which we are seeing, and hence, as a company, again, we kind of 100% committed to sustainability, and we are working in that direction. Apart from that, this guy is a very digitally evolved guy,
Oh, yes.
so they need smart solutions, right? So whether it's a digital lock or whether you're talking about the stuff in your home all connected, they're talking about all connected furniture.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's the way we are also evolving in terms of how do you design
Yes.
furniture,
Oh my God.
which kind of appeals to your taste. And what she said about adaptability, bang on. These guys believe in living in the now. So they don't know what's going to happen tomorrow, right? They need furniture, which obviously, okay, it's good for me today, but tomorrow if I want to transform that furniture, can I do it? So we talk about transforming spaces again.
Oh my God. Yes. Okay, speaking of the younger generation, is there something that a design lesson rather that they've taught you that has really stayed with you?
So with the home that we worked on, the bedroom was, the orientation of the door was in such a way that it was very hard to place the bed looking out of the window when she actually also needed a television. So what do? Now, I completely get the part that you can have the TV coming down from the ceiling or coming up from a cabinet in front of the window. Yes, but it was not resonating with me. So then we thought out of the box. We were like, all right, what if we put a revolving bed
Oh my God.
on a remote control, and you have the television, you have the window, you have the study. It's up to you which direction you decide to face. And that was that involved a lot of R&D and Hettich hardware and motors and all of that, aligning to make it possible.
Oh, wow. Has it ever happened where you guys have had to go back to the drawing board for a requirement that came in like this, or a project that came in like this, where an innovation actually began in front of you?
So as I've been saying, we always listen to our consumers.
Yes.
The genesis of all our products is basically based on in-depth
Of course.
consumer understanding,
course.
the mega trends, which are shaping the globe. Let's look at the recent concept of this fern spin. This is like the revolving cabinet that we have. Now again, that's based on an insight. Let's understand for people in India, for example. One of the best examples that I heard about how a fun spin can be used. They said there are many homes. Okay, now when you put up a fun spin in a living room, say in your, in your cabinet, the living room cabinet, there are people who want to keep liquor out there. Yeah,
Oh,
but they
yes.
don't want it to be displayed in the morning
course.
or the afternoon. It opens up in the night,
Of
right?
Oh, the concept of a hidden bar.
a hidden bar.
course, yeah.
Absolutely.
But the new thing that we are working on now is inventing an ice dispenser.
Oh, wow.
For me, that has been like I asked them because we are coming out with our own bar concept where it's going to be very luxury, very uh, automation driven and light changing, etc. To depending on the mood, but the key thing is when I is like the ice dispensing part, which was everybody's wish list.
Dream.
We identified.
Yes.
That, yeah.
Oh, lovely. Coming back to this whole tech meets innovation today, what about the price tag? Does tech come at a very heavy price tag? What do you think?
See, it depends on the kind of innovation you're looking at. Some of the innovations, say for example, is smart digital lock. That obviously doesn't cost you too much, right? But it's just become like a necessity today,
Correct.
right? But there may be certain, for example, innovations. Maybe say for example, there's an innovation called room spin that we are working on, or which is all about you can spin the room around.
Like the bed.
Yeah, you can
Like
spin
the
the room
bed.
around. So obviously that comes at a cost,
Yes.
right? So it depends upon the kind of innovation you're looking at. We also have an innovation called the transforming room. Now, what that means is during the daytime, that room can be very well like a study or a living room. In the night, it transforms into a bedroom. You can move the wall. Yeah. Homes in Mumbai,
Correct.
you don't have too much of a space because given the amount of
course
money,
not.
right?
Of course not.
This kind of solutions work very well.
Yeah.
When you have limited space,
Yes.
but you need to have all the functionality, this kind of solutions work very well
Very
for you.
interesting. A very interesting name for this. It's called chameleon decor. When you can actually work it around.
So, well, walls are static, right? I mean, the some clients want projections on every wall so they can alter the
Look.
They don't want art. They want to project art. They want to project a mood. They want to play a black and white movie throughout the day on that particular, and that is art. So it's about where tech comes into the home because and creates movement.
Oh my God.
I
So
feel
much.
earlier people looked at a home as an oasis, where they could go and embrace it and feel this
Absolutely.
whole very zen,
Yeah.
like, oh, this is my downtime and here's where I belong and I want to relax, I want to have my dinner, have a glass of wine. It's changing. Now I feel people want their homes to be vibrant. They want to
Activity
come back
centers.
to
Yeah. Life.
a space that stimulates their
Life.
mind.
Life at home. So, considering all of this innovation that's happening and tech that's taking over, and there's a lot of it happening, what about the cultural context? Do you think that we're also missing out, or homes and spaces are missing out today on a little bit of a piece of the past, the heritage, the
I think
culture?
India as an aesthetic concept in its little like all its typography to
Pockets,
iconography is evolving all the time. It's becoming pop art now. It's becoming
Yeah.
a cult. I mean, it's embraced. I think the West is taking India
Yes.
as on their dinner plate.
India global.
Yeah, there's a lot of customization. What she's saying is there's a lot of customization happening to the old heritage art. And people are modernizing it.
Yes.
Right? But it's still there. Genesis is still there. So that's what people want to kind of contemporize this entire bit, but not lose out on the essence of that heritage that you had.
Correct.
So I think that's what
I
we're
want
seeing.
my home to look like it's a home in India.
Right.
Correct.
And not because it's got this very ethnic
Correct.
aesthetic to it,
yeah.
but it's gonna have the touch. It's gonna have
Absolutely.
those finishes or the look, that identity that
Correct.
makes anybody feel that yeah,
Right.
this looks like it comes from somewhere
Some
in
part of India.
India.
some part of India.
Okay. Coming back, do you think, and this I want to ask both of you, do you think design is evolving too quickly?
Yes and no. If you are talking about the color of the, I mean, the color of the year, the material of the year, the fabric or the print of the year, then yes, obviously there is a certain correlation with fashion and bringing in trends
Of course.
to put into design and do that. I mean, this year it's a mocha brown, and
Yes.
next year it could be a flamingo pink. Who knows? But yes, I mean, depending on that, you have to put out trends. It's vital because it gets people more engaged
Yeah.
with design and doesn't make it too static. Like a home has to last about at least 15-20 years.
Correct.
But you don't want to make the concept of a look too static that everything begins to look the same. You need to create endless
Change.
possibilities in material, in product, in just tapestry, color, right?
Yes.
You have to.
Of course.
So that part, yes, it's very quick. But the adaptive use of trends, it's very important to recognize the ones that you think will last and work. And even if they will, how do you use them such that it's not like a trend?
Yeah.
It's got a certain sense of timelessness.
Correct. Okay, so there is something that I have noticed, which is right now a reality in our times, right? Which is basically those old family homes that have gone under redevelopment. So the families have literally broken out, moved into individual smaller homes on rent. And now that their redeveloped, swanky new buildings are ready, they've moved back into larger family spaces. And that's literally the definition of our modern lives today. So you've got a family that used to live together, has moved out, gotten used to living nuclear lives, and they're coming back in their new buildings to live together again. And that's a huge one because it's emotional, like we were talking earlier when we started out. And it's also a lot of innovation, and it's a lot of, high functionality and just the whole multi-generational requirement. How do you address that? How are you addressing that?
What I've seen in my experience is that the oldest part of that generation is very influenced by the younger generation that's moving in with them. They are happy to adapt to innovative techniques. They want to learn automation. They want to know how to, use their keypads and
Yes.
tunable lights. It's actually refreshing for them. So it's the millennials who are making the decisions, but the older generation is happy to
Adapt.
fall in line and go with it.
So sweet. That is so sweet.
It's a reality. I think it's fascinating for the grandmom to say, "Oh, I could switch on this light
play with
from my phone. Wow, let me do it now." It's like a feeling of
Yes.
accomplishment, and it's like magic for them.
Delight. Yes. Also, in terms of when you're actually when you literally have your hardware coming into a home like that, you also have the older generation handling a lot of heavy objects, and therefore a lot of your solutions have to be thought according to
Yeah.
finger touch. And
Yeah.
is there a lot of that? What do you see that's exciting about this trend?
Yeah. So Exactly. We are conceptualizing a fitting just to ensure that it cuts across generations, because when you have to kind of work with heavy loads and that happens at the touch of a finger, I
Yes.
think no better feeling for, people who have been like used to kind of pulling drawers, which were so heavy, right? Just now, working with drawers with just a finger touch, those drawers open for you. So yeah, I think it's a feeling of delight. So maybe for the older generation, it's a feeling of delight, but for the younger generation, something that it has to be that way, huh?
Their necessity.
Necessity, yeah. I mean, what's new for them?
Yeah.
So, so it's a kind, again, I'm saying it's a kind of the exposure, the mindsets that you have today. So, for the older generation, it's a delight. For the younger generation, it's all about like it's hygiene. It needs to be there. What's
Yeah.
new about it?
Yeah.
So from that point of view, yes, I think people have to get together, and I think people are also coming in terms that when they get back together, right, there are different mindsets which are working in the same home. You have the same product, but the outlook is
Yes.
quite different to the same product. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh, lovely. How beautiful is that thought? And speaking of ease, I'm now going to move into the next segment, which is, I'm hoping not going to be so easy for both of you. So basically, we're going to
My life's already hard. Go on.
No, we love your life. Wait. So the whole thing is, I'm going to give you a sentence, just a part of a sentence, and I want you both to finish that sentence.
Sure.
All right? The most timeless piece in my home is
My Marshall speaker.
lovely.
My temple.
Oh, lovely. Okay, now I'm going to start with you. If I could gift one design idea to the next generation, it would be
Transforming spaces.
oh, lovely.
A very open home, no walls at all.
Oh my God. Wow. The most surprising lesson that you've learned from the younger generation working with you.
The lack of self-consciousness and putting your ideas forth in such a way, it doesn't matter how ridiculous they may sound at first.
Wow.
For me, it's been like those guys are completely unabashed in terms of their views and opinions. It's just about expressing yourself. It's me first before everyone else.
It's a big one, huh?
Yeah.
Okay. The bridge between classic and contemporary is
Is timeless material on the walls that are made through traditional techniques with a modern expression.
oh, lovely. Wow.
For me, it's innovation.
Okay. And the last one. If you had to sum up your design journey in 3 words only,
Chaotic, psychedelic, hedonist.
lovely. Okay.
For me, it would be curious, evolving, purposeful.
Oh, lovely. Wow. All right. So that kind of brings us to the end of this segment. But before I end our conversation, I want to know what is it that you're looking forward to in the next few years? Let's not wait a generation, just the next few years.
So if you ask me in the next few years, the way we're looking at, I mean, from the company standpoint, if I were to answer you, we're looking at creating solutions, that are ahead of its times. And when we talk about that, we are looking at how immersive can we go? How do we make people, first of all, realize how our solutions can make a world of difference to their homes?
Correct. Yes.
I see more collaborations. I see Tejal Mathur Design putting out more verticals. It could be hyper styling, is what I am thinking about right now. It could be partnering with other brands and to put out more versions of our philosophy through, it could be lighting, it could be furniture, it could well be experimental homes. Down the line, I just want somebody to give me a space and say, at my expense, make the entire home in cardboard.
Oh.
Yes, that would be my.
Oh.
That's where I wanna.
What a lovely, lovely, lovely conversation this has been. And this also brings us to the end of yet another episode of Hettich Presents Living with Magic. And this conversation, thanks to both of you, has really taught me that design isn't only about the spaces or its people, but it's also about how we live and the expression and expectation we all have of what we call home. Thank you so much once again, Tejal and Jiteen, for being here with me. It was incredible talking to both of you. And to you all, I want to say, stay tuned for more refreshing conversations like this on another episode of Hettich Presents Living with Magic.